Sid, I am noticing a little bit more inventory in the market, which is super exciting.
Yep.
And I know you got a couple new listings that are adding to that inventory. Talk to us about what's upcoming.
One of my favorite ones that's coming is I have a really cool mid-century modern that was built in 1972 on the 18th tee box on Valley High. Do you know this about me,
Nice.
Nick, that I like golf? Have
Nice.
we ever talked about that
I
before?
mean, I think the shirt says it all.
That's true, right? So I love golf, and we've got this really cool new listing. Going to hit the market next week. We'll probably be releasing it on your amazing front display board.
Everybody sees it when they drive
Yeah,
by.
they
Yeah.
love it, right? So Valley High, mid-century modern. We'll see it coming up. I'm really excited about this
Yeah,
one.
that's cool. Right on.
Yeah.
So with the new inventory, we're in a new kind of market now in terms of um, how buyers' representation has changed. So as a listing agent now, what dynamics have changed so far for you? Is it mostly the same? Have there been any big changes since the new changes, just as far as how buyers agents are getting compensated?
So good point. One thing I want to bring up that we've highlighted probably going back to a long time in our videos is I think that now the cream of the crop with real estate agents, lenders, all this stuff is going to come to the top. And I think a lot of people are going to, not be able to have this conversation and learn about these new things. So, but to your point, I think the main point now is obviously compensation cannot be put in the MLS. Okay, so the buyer's agents are bringing an offer, and with that offer, basically asking for what compensation they want. Okay, and I think it's a great conversation to have.
Now, are you having that conversation with your seller before you're listing it?
100%. Yeah, that is agreed upon before we put the house in the market. Okay, we know, and I'm telling all of my clients that there's really no change here. Okay, there's never been a change that you can't offer compensation to a buyer's agent, and we should be doing that. Okay, I think that you know, we are providing a disservice to our clients to tell them that, hey, if you're saying you don't want to offer a buyer compensation, I think you're going to lose out on buyer pool doing that. And I even think a lot of the legal teams that have looked behind this are saying that as well. So yes, we're having that conversation before with the seller, and then when the buyer submits their offer, they're submitting their offer with their compensation, and they will have a buyer representation with that as well.
Yeah, and so you haven't, so far, anyways, seen more trepidation from agents or from buyers in relation to your listings.
I don't think really anything has changed in that point, right? It's more of just a conversation of how we're going to submit the offer, which I'm having with my buyers as well before we submit the
So how
offer.
are you setting that up?
Well, I think the main thing is telling them, all right, here's how it used to work. Okay, this is how it works now, and then we're gonna have to submit your offer with my representation. Okay, and my goal is to get my compensation paid by the seller. I don't want my buyers to pay any compensation. And I think the really good agents and the really good listing agents understand that, and that's how it's gonna work for me.
So you talked about you're an experienced, confident agent. You kind of understand your value for maybe newer agents or less experienced agents that aren't comfortable yet. Do you have any pointers or any advice you would give them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is show them everything you're going to do to provide that value. Okay. When you're working with a buyer, there's a lot of things that go in a transaction. Okay. Including coordinating inspections, making sure to go through the disclosures, preliminary title report, working with the lender. I mean, I can go on and on and on to talk about your value you're going to provide to them, as well as the representation versus yourself and the listing agent. Now, dual agency happens a lot. I get that, but you still need to provide that value for your client and show them what you're going to be doing.
Being able to communicate your value proposition has just been something that maybe has been missing
Sure.
from some agents. Here's another, to piggyback on your point, another thing that you might want to look for if you're an agent that needs help with that is look to maybe a lender because, hey, who's been really used to having people shop around on them?
Yeah.
Hey, why should you use me? That's happened to us forever.
Sure.
Right? So we're really used to being able to say, this is how much we charge, this is what you get, this is why you should use us. So again, if you want maybe some tips or some help on how you craft that value proposition, reach out to your local lender that you work with, and they should, if they're good, they should be able to give you some advice and help you put that together.
Great point.
And as we see more inventory,
Yep.
one of the things that I know is going to change buyer demand are interest rates.
Always do, right?
And there is a direct correlation between rates and demand, meaning mortgage applications. So as rates come down, which they're expected to do, we will see demand pick up, which is going to impact that available inventory that we have now. So again, if you're a buyer that has been waiting or thinking it's better to wait for rates to come down, what would you say to them?
Well, I think now's the time, okay? I saw one of your videos, which you've highlighted too, and I firmly believe this, right? This is the time to get in because unfortunately I'm going to lose a bet over this, but it looks like they're going to cut rates in September, okay? We don't have a crystal ball, but that looks like it's going to happen, okay? That's going to bring more buyers to the table, all right? Get your property now if you're really interested. If you're interested in selling and then, buying another property, it's a great time, okay? Because, listen, this is not going to be a loan that you're probably going to have for 30 years, right? Get in beforehand. We'll see some appreciation if we have more buyers on the table, and buy now. Get in there and find good properties because it's going to help you in the long run.
Well, talk about this. So when you had listings and it was 2021 when things were abnormally crazy,
Sure.
you were having to tell agents like, look, you have to submit your best offer at your best terms. And what buyers don't realize is the impact that has on them emotionally, financially. So right now, you can still negotiate a little bit more freely. You can maybe get some closing costs covered. You can get certain things from sellers that you likely won't get when this thing shifts back.
100%, right? I mean, anytime that we could go to the table and get some of those closing cost credits paid for by the seller and, negotiate any repairs at the property. During 2021, that wasn't happening, right? It's take it as is. And we got these 10 other offers, maybe 20 other offers that are willing to do it. Right now, we got a couple bargaining chips on your side. That could not happen again, right? So this might be the time to get a really good deal.
Leverage your opportunity now, for
Yeah.
sure. All right, you touched on it. September 18th is the Fed meeting. It is a foregone conclusion at this point.
So you're guaranteed?
A minimum. That is a George Zimmer guarantee. 25 basis points minimum.
Minimum. Oh,
I'm thinking we could have 50, but I'll give you 25 minimum. Do you remember what the bet was?
I do remember the bet was it's a happy hour of any place of your choice. Luckily, I got a second person behind this just in case you.
But it's a 2-drink minimum, 10-drink maximum. Okay.
Yes.
So we did put a cap on it.
Yeah.
I'm open. So if you're out there and you think of where we should hold this happy hour, that I am going to fully take advantage of the maximum.
Because you're not paying for anything.
Because
right?
I'm not paying for anything. So I want to get the max. And I'm a max out kind of guy anyways. So
we know, Nick. Yes,
let's max this thing out. Give me some good places that I should take advantage of my great forecast on Fed rates.